And we're live. Hi, Lewis. Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
Today we're going to be talking about morning and evening routines and weekly routines as well, and how to plan these so that it makes it more effective. And also 3 healthy habits to make a simple lifestyle change so that you feel fitter, more energized, and just feel better. So welcome, Lewis.
How you doing, Suzanne? Thanks for having me.
Lewis is a health and wellness coach. He's a level 3 certified personal trainer. He's also a nutritionist and life coach. And wow, so who do you help with all that wonderful qualification and experience?
Yeah, so initially I started doing personal training a few years ago, and automatically I just seemed to draw female clients. I never had any male clients, and that wasn't through just specifically targeting females. I just seemed to be the people that I connected with better. And then when I transitioned my program online, I then focused more so on the mum's side of things after Sarah having our daughter. And then from there, I've kind of moved towards working with professional women, career-driven women, entrepreneurs. And that's kind of how the program's grown and developed. And that's who I work with primarily at the moment is
Right.
entrepreneurial professional women looking to make an impact in the world, but are struggling to include their health in there as well.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. And how long have you been doing this?
So I started personal training about 5 years ago whilst I was still serving in the military. So I was doing personal training in my spare time in the evenings. And then once we had Evelyn, I had to kind of choose between personal training in the evening or seeing my family in the evening, and obviously the latter one. So I was like, okay, now's the time to maybe try out this online side of things. So I've been online for about 3 years or so, and then I went completely all in online. Coming up to 2 years now when I left the military. So yeah, I'd probably say 2 years all in, and then 3 years prior to that.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. So how can you help people to plan their weeks? What do you suggest is the best way to go about it then?
Okay, yeah. So what I see a lot of the time is that most people have exactly the same routine week in, week out. They usually start work at the same time. They finish at the same time. If they've got kids, they go to the same kids clubs at the same time. We're very much creatures of habit. So my first tip would be to have a weekly game plan that is basically your normal routine in a nutshell. So I provide my clients with an Excel spreadsheet with timings, and then all they do is they just plot in the stuff that doesn't really change.
Right.
And then when it comes to everything else in their life, whether it's, we want to factor in time to read a book or time for them or a workout or kind of prepare their nutrition or anything like that, they can factor in the gaps. And then it's a case of you then have your game plan open, or you put it into your Google Calendar or what have you. And then you haven't got to sit there thinking, oh, what should I do next? Just start procrastinating and end up watching cat memes on Facebook or something. You can just look at your calendar and be like, cool, this is what I planned for the next 30 minutes, the next 60 minutes. Let's go and get it done. So
yeah, exactly. When you know that you've got time to do something, and then you have to think of that list of all those different things that you could do. If you've got it all plotted out, that's how I like to work as well. It's like it's in there. There's a list of stuff that you can do. I've got a quick half an hour. What can I do? And you just plot it in there. That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And it just makes it so much easier because you can literally, because you've got the same routine. And when you start factoring in these new things, like say someone wants to start making some healthier changes to their lifestyle, they can factor in those things, exercise, bit of self-development, that sort of thing. They can then add that into their routine. And then they basically just turn up every single morning, look at their game plan, look at their to-do list and just execute. And it's very, very simple. And it reduces stress, reduces overwhelm. It just makes people so much more focused and productive with their time.
Yeah, exactly. If you know what options you've got to do and you've got it already planned in, then you don't need to think about it anymore, because we've got so many things going round around our brains. I know with me, I need to just dump it down onto a calendar, onto a list somewhere so that I get it out of my brain. And so if you've got, the calendar all mapped out, then that sounds really, really good. It seems like, you can reduce overwhelm that way too.
Yeah, 100%. If you're especially someone's trying to lose a little bit of weight, they're trying to make those healthy changes to their lifestyle that you have to be, self-aware and consistent with on a conscious basis. if you're getting stressed out and overwhelmed with the rest of your life, there is no way you're going to be consistent with developing new habits. So it helps just put the rest of your life kind of on autopilot so that you can bring to the forefront of your mind for new habits that you want to implement until it all becomes just a lifestyle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I mean, from my perspective as a hypnotherapist, you don't break old habits, you just create new ones. And so this is, if you're integrating them into your calendar, then it's kind of like squeezing out the old bad habits and pushing in the new ones and making them more prominent on your calendar. So that really does make sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent.
So that's pretty much the fundamentals of a weekly routine, and how to get someone to be more productive with their time is a weekly game plan just like that.
Okay, and what do you do if if all shit hits the fan and you've got less time, you've been up half the night with one of your kids, or you had a deadline the night before and you were up half the night for that? How do you do you have contingency plans for things like that?
Yeah, so generally what I would do myself and what I would get my clients to do is you sit down on a Sunday, and everyone's got a to-do list, haven't they? Usually on their phone, they've got a list of all the things that they want to get done. Change the bedding before the mother-in-law comes, or whatever else it is that you've got to do within your job or your business or what have you. There's all just on one long list. What you do on a Sunday is you sit down and you realistically look at that list, and you take off 10 things off that list that actually have to be done, because the chances are 90% of the stuff on that list can be left another week, probably longer, but people choose to do stuff that doesn't need to be done this week and then overwhelm themselves and then neglect the stuff that needs to be done. So you got to sit down, look at your to-do list and be like, right, realistically, what cannot be left for another 7 days? And the chances are there's only like 4 or 5 things on that list that has to be done this week, and everything else could be probably left until the end of the week, maybe even the week after. And then you just whittled your to-do list of 30 things down to 4 things, and then you just allocate them to a day, and then and you keep Fridays free in case everything goes a bit crazy. That's pretty much it. Just be realistic with what you're asking yourself to do within your routine. I
certainly I could recognize myself there. I have a to-do list mostly as long as my arm, and I end up doing all the unimportant things, and then I've got something that I need to do by the 31st of March, and I still haven't done it. And I'm like, I've had this for weeks, so I haven't done it. I always say I hate deadlines, but it's probably more because I procrastinate it and prioritize other things that are not so important. So that's so do you help people to actually prioritize stuff as well?
Yeah, so there's a protocol that you can find on Google. It's called the Eisenhower Matrix, and it's called the 4Ds. The 4Ds. So you've got do, delay, or defer, one of the two. Do, delay, delegate, delete. And so you have do would be those like 5 things that you have to do this week. Then the next would be that you can delegate to, say you've got subordinates, or if it's housework, give it to your husband or your wife to do, to help out, delegate it to them or to the kids or whatever. And then delay would be what can be delayed another 7 days. And then delete would be what doesn't even need to be on here. If it's been on there for 2 months, the chances are you can probably just delete it. And if it's that important, if it's that important, it will come back on again.
Exactly. But I've got a crate of paperwork that I've had upstairs in the living room, trying to make it more prominent for me to sort through. And I'm just like, do I actually need to sort through it? Paperwork is always a bit dodgy because you're not quite sure. There might be something really, really important in between.
Yeah, exactly. So if you follow the 4Ds of the Eisenhower Matrix, you won't go far wrong.
Yeah, excellent. Just going to have a quick look to see if anybody's commented. Weekly game plan has been a game changer. Natalie says it's been a game changer for her. Excellent. And Kelty says, hi, great topic. Routine is key right now. Exactly. That's something that the message I've been getting out to my people as well, because you've got to find a new routine. It's something that, gone completely up the spout through the virus. And it's like, right, what are the basics that I really need to do? You don't need to have it perfect. You don't need to fill every single minute. You've got to have leeway there for all eventualities. If you're homeschooling as well, I'm seeing a lot of people on online saying, oh, now that you've got all this extra time, what are you going to be doing? And I'm like, extra time? No, we're homeschooling as well. So lots and lots of these perfectly curated routines have gone completely out of the window because people are having to completely recalibrate and do other things and squeeze extra activities into their day. What do you suggest people do in this, like, exceptional circumstances at the moment in these next few months?
Yeah, great question. So when a lot of people do when they want to change their lifestyle or they want to get an end result, say they want to be fitter, healthier, slimmer, stronger, whatever these goals are, they have to break some kind of lifestyle to make or to put in the new one, if that makes sense. You luckily, what's happened now, we've had our old lifestyles ripped away from us unwillingly. So we can either sit and cry and bitch and moan about how our life's been changed by this virus, or you can use this as an opportunity to create a new lifestyle from scratch. You've got a blank canvas, where you've never been in this situation before, where you may be homeschooling the kids, where you're working from home, where you may have been working 9 to 5 for the last 20 years, and now you're not. You've got the opportunity now to cement some new habits, a morning routine, evening routine, a plan for every single day, get into the habit of doing all of that, so that when this virus subsides and life goes back to relative normality or whatever the new normal will be, you have firmly set the foundations for a lifestyle that's going to take you to where you want to be. So those are the two choices that you have: to cry about it, or
it's an opportunity. Definitely, it's an opportunity. Things might be falling down around your ears, but it's an opportunity to become more self-aware. I'm sure that most people will, even if they've been resisting it half their life, they'll be becoming more self-aware now and saying, I've got time to think now, or I don't need to go out, I can't go out so much. And what, is this good for me? Should I carry on doing this, or what could I do instead? And it's an opportunity. And to count your blessings as well. It's something I also mentioned yesterday in a live, where it's like, you've got a roof over your head, you're warm and dry, and you've got your loved ones around you. Got to go right back down to basics to realize what you have, and you have your health at the moment, and why not do something about it by, what can you do? You can watch fitness videos, you can, if you're still allowed to go out running or something like that on your own, then do it. Or if you have a garden, you can go out and do something there, and find some new things that you'd like to do rather than all the things that you've been doing that you had to do, kind of thing.
You've maybe been spending life being dragged along by it for the last 10 years, being dragged along by your job and your commitments. And now you've been given an opportunity. Those commitments have kind of let go of you. And you can like kind of pick yourself up off the dirt, dust yourself down and be like, cool, so where do I want to go from here? And now it's your opportunity to do that.
Yeah, to take in charge of your own life, in as many ways as you possibly can. Obviously, there are lots of things that we can't take charge of right now, but there are still a lot of things that we can do. So that's great. Okay, so what about breaking down? You've got the weekly planning your days, like morning routines or evening routines, or how do you want to explain it to us?
Yeah. Okay. So the way I see it is your day is like a downward slope. Okay. So you want to basically set the bar as high as possible, the start of the slope as high as possible in the morning, because your day is going to get worse and worse as you go through it. You're going to get tired. You're going to start getting a little bit stressed out with things like that. And where your day ends, is essentially, well, it is relative to where it starts. So if you wake up in the morning, if you miss your alarm, you're flustered, you're running around like a lunatic, trying to get your clothes on, you skip a shower, you skip a shave or whatever, straight to work, you're flustered and stressed all day. And then by the evening, you've lost all discipline, you've lost all willpower. Yeah, so you just sit on the sofa, bang on Netflix, grab a packet of bourbons and a bottle of wine, and smash your way through that. Whereas if you set your morning super, super high, where you're in control, you filled up your cup first so that you're ready to serve others, you've got, you where you want to be mentally and physically. And at the end of the day, when willpower's lower than normal, it's still going to be higher than it was. You're going to be more likely to stick to a nutrition plan. You're going to be more likely to get that workout done that you planned in. So you've got to make sure you set your morning as high as possible, so that you end the day as best as possible. Otherwise, if your evening's bad, then the next morning's going to be bad. And it's just a constant cycle of a bad life, bad routines, and lack of routine. And it just is a downward slope from there.
Yeah, and it's a lack of control again as well. You know, when you take back control of your life and you say, I will get up at this time and I will go to bed at this time. Obviously, there's a correlation between the two. Because if you're not going to bed at a decent time, then you're not going to be able to get up at a decent time, and you're fueling your body with healthy stuff and not too late, and maybe only drinking alcohol at the weekend if that's what you do, then you're going to be more in control, and you're starting the day off on the right foot, and the rest of the day is very likely to go your way, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. If you start your day off how you want to start it off, with a bit of space, whether you read a little bit of a book or what have you, or you do 5 minutes of meditation, or you just sit in silence and drink a cup of tea before the kids wake up, that's going to put you in a far better position rather than the kids coming in, smacking you around the face with something and going, wake up, mummy, wake up, daddy. Those are two different variations of how you could wake up. I know which one I'd rather.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I always, if I don't manage to get out of bed like a lot earlier than the others, I always manage to get up just before the others do, so that I can get in the bathroom first, because then there's not that mad, sort of rush hour in the bathroom with the family and fighting to get in there. So I always make sure that I at least have used the bathroom first before everybody else gets up, and then I might make a cup of tea and sit down and write my to-do list in peace and quiet before all hell breaks loose. So that really helps me to feel grounded in the morning. And if I really have time, then I might listen to a hypnotic audio to set me up really brilliantly for the day, or meditate for 5 or 10 minutes. Kind of sometimes you can only really do the basics if you've got a full-on life and you've got loads of other people to organize in your life, like your kids and your family. But a few basics in the morning, I think, really helps you to feel in control more.
Yeah, just get a head start, because you've got your plan of action for the day. You've already set that up. You've planned your week, you planned your day. Now you've got to get a head start on things to make sure that you actually can implement that plan rather than getting dragged into somebody else's. So, and like you said, it depends on the individual. Like, I could give someone my morning routine, and I don't give people my specific morning routine because it's my routine. It wouldn't work for you, Suzanne. It wouldn't work for the people watching. Well, it may, but it probably won't work for most of them. Some people may just wait. Their morning routine that sets them up for the day may just be getting up 50 minutes earlier, having a cup of tea, and reading a bit of a book. If that puts you in a good place mentally and gets you prepared for the day, then crack on. Whereas somebody else would have, if they're self-employed or what have you, they may have like an hour-long morning routine where they wake up, they meditate for 20 minutes, then go for a 20-minute walk and visualize the future, and then they do some journaling and all that. If it works for them, it works for them. So you've got to find a morning routine that's sustainable for you, and that actually sets you up for a good day.
Yeah,
it doesn't stress you out.
You've got to try different things out. I mean, I'd love to journal, but I just don't have the time to do that in the morning. Sometimes I do it at night, like brief journaling, gratitude and praise, self-praise, what I did well that day and stuff like that. But it's not really proper journaling. But you've just got to be more realistic about your time and your lifestyle, and find what suits you, haven't you?
Exactly. It's like any routine. It will evolve. Like, over the last 12 months, my routine has probably changed. It's changed tons of times, and it all depends on what your current commitments are in life and what works for you, and trying different things that work for you. Some people, like we said, prefer to read books. Some people would prefer to write stuff down. Some people would prefer to just have a cup of tea and look at the views if they've got a nice house to look out on or whatever. So there's no right or wrong routine. It's just testing different things and seeing what works for you the best and gets you the best result, and that you can actually be consistent with it. Because if you can't be consistent with it, there's literally no point even starting.
Exactly. Yeah. And you've got a small daughter as well, so it's not like you're, have like this perfect Zen life where you can have like a 2-hour morning routine. You get woken up at 5:30, you told me.
Yeah, well, she's quite good though. She wakes up at 5:30 and then we'll come downstairs and she'll just sit watching a bit of kiddies TV or whatever. And I'll just sit at the dining table and she'll just leave me be, and I'll just crack on and do a bit of journaling or what have you, and read a bit of a book while she just does her own thing. Then I have different morning routines depending on what mood she's in. So if she's in a needy mood where she wants cuddling, what have you, then I'll just have a very, very short one. If she's still asleep, then I'll have a longer one where I'll meditate for 20 minutes rather than 2. It all depends on what she's doing and whether she's still in bed or awake or what have you. But you just got to find a way that works around everybody else. But it doesn't mean early starts every day.
Yes. Yeah, and that's key, isn't it? Being flexible and saying, getting frustrated with yourself and saying, but I have to meditate for 20 minutes, every day. No, you can't. And so things happen, so you've got to be a bit more flexible, but you've got to know what suits you and what things you can do given the time that you have. So that's, being aware of that is the most important thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think not having a routine that's becomes a crutch is key. If you have to rely on your routine to have a good day, then that's not a good thing. Because if it goes away, then you're out of control. Yeah, so you want to kind of learn what sort of needs that you have a very, very, a very, very low bar that is absolute minimum of what you do. And just go by that. Like, it could literally be, you can just say to your partner, look, I find that I'm a better person, I'm a happier person, I'm less stressed if I just have 5 minutes on my own in the morning. Can you help me out with that if the kids are going a bit crazy? Just give them breakfast, give me 5 minutes peace. That's all I ask. And as long as you're telling your family, then they're aware of what you're trying to achieve. Because I know initially Sarah was like, I used to get annoyed. I was that person that had a routine but would get annoyed if I was out of it. And Sarah didn't understand. She's like, I don't understand why you're getting annoyed. But it's because I wasn't telling her what I was trying to achieve.
Oh, yeah.
So just tell your family and your partners and say, look, I'm a better mum, I'm a better wife, a better husband, whatever. If I do these couple of things for me in the morning, I'll be in a better mood all day. You'll have a better day, what have you. So just give me that. That's all I ask. And then if you told them they don't do it, then you're well within your right to have a go.
Exactly. Yeah, like I said, my minimum is getting in the bathroom before everyone else, and my maximum would be writing my to-do list and doing a bit of journaling or listening to a hypnotic audio or something like that on top of all that, and a bit of visualizing and stuff. But yeah, if the minimum is I look at the clock and I'm like, right, they're getting up soon, so straight in the bathroom, so that if I don't do that, then I'm really grumpy all day, because I just like, I want to go in. Oh no, somebody else has just gone in. I want to go in. Oh no, somebody else has just gone in.
Yeah. And then your plan for the day is getting pushed back in the year. Then
I get to my desk later, and then I don't go out with my husband once the kids have gone off to school in a normal situation. Because I'm like, I haven't had a wash yet and I haven't got dressed yet, so I make sure I do that first so that everything else runs more smoothly. Excellent. Let's have a quick look, see if anybody else has made any comments. Let me refresh that. Oh, right. Yeah. Natalie says, in regards to home educating, forgive yourself and your children and just breathe. Exactly. Yeah, you've got to do what you can. I mean, our youngest he's coping quite well with, and my husband's doing it in the mornings because he's going into work late in the afternoon. He'll be leaving soon. But we're doing it quite in a school fashion, sit down, concentrate, do this. And I'm wondering how long it's going to go that well, whether he's going to just say this is just too much for me and too intensive. So yeah, we're doing the best we can, and we're getting lots of feedback from the teachers, so thanks for that comment, Natalie. Right, you are. So what about evening routines then?
Yeah, so there's two purposes to an evening routine. The first one is to prepare you for good quality sleep, and the second one is to prepare you for your morning routine. So you can have a good morning routine, but like we've already said, if it's a flustered one, it's kind of pointless. So the first thing you want to do, but at the end of the day, is you want to make sure you've got a couple of things sorted to make the morning easier. So say once this virus is gone and we're all going back to work and stuff like that, in school it could be making sure the kids' lunch boxes are packed, make sure that their uniforms are in their rooms ready to put on, and make sure that my lunch is sorted. Those are three things that are going to make the morning less stressful. What you can also do is then, whatever your morning routine is, to get the stuff out that you're going to use. So for me, before I go to bed, I always get out my journal and I always get out my book and then put it on the dinner table. And then when I come down, all I've got to do is sit straight down and I'm focused in the game. If I'm trying to hunt around for a pen for 20 minutes, that's not going to help. So that's the first thing with the evening routine, is get yourself set up and ready for the morning. And then the next one is to get yourself primed and ready for a good night's sleep. So I strongly suggest that you get off your phone at a certain point, at least an hour before bed. Just, if you can't get off your phone because it's that bad, you're that addicted to your phone, then at least put a blue light filter on it so that it's not going to impact your sleep. But ideally, nothing on social media. nothing good happens on social media after 8 p.m. So just put your phone on the side in the kitchen at 8 p.m. and then leave it there, and then chill out, be present with your partner, present with your kids if they're older and they're up with you. Put something on TV that helps you just relax and forget about what's been going on in the day. Then go up to bed in a decent time, and then obviously do your bedtime routine, brush your teeth, have a wash or whatever it is, and then get yourself into bed. And because you've switched off from social media and you've just unwound and relaxed, you will sleep a lot better. And then you can do a bit of reading in bed if you want as well. Do some sleep meditation if that's what you want to try, or you can just go to bed a little bit more relaxed and unwound and, you know, off social media for a bit.
Yeah, that really sets you up for the morning. So the morning and the evening are just so important to help each other, aren't they? You know, the two different things. Do you suggest writing a to-do list in the evening rather than in the morning?
Yeah. So what I'll do is I do my game plan. So that's already a template. Then I do my to-do list on a Sunday. So I'll have on my phone, I'll have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, allocate those however many tasks to the days. And the night before, I'll just pull up my game plan on my computer, put it into a Google Calendar at the timings, and then the areas that I've separated off in my game plan for the to-do list tasks, I'll just put in there whatever task it is that I'm doing off the to-do list. And then it literally takes, because you've already got your game plan written and all of that already done, it literally takes like 5 minutes and you've planned your entire day to the minute.
Yeah.
And then once you've done that, that's when you would then phones down, computers off, chilling out.
Right, excellent. Yeah, because I tend to write mine in the morning, but then of course sometimes you realise, oh, hang on a minute, I need to find something to be able to do that task, a certificate or something, or, you know, if somebody needs to hand something in at school, then it's like, oh my God, where's that form gone? you have to hand it in today, but you haven't found it in time to sign it and fill it out. So yeah, maybe I should start doing that in the evenings instead of in the mornings, just to kind of like wind down and just know, okay, I just get up and then I start it, you know, when I'm half asleep, then I could just get on with doing my things. I don't tend to plan weeks, I tend to plan from day to day, but I can definitely see a benefit in doing that, and I might start doing that.
Yeah, it's just a very loose framework, and then all you have is a few empty spaces which are for work or for housework or whatever it is, just empty spaces. And then all you do is you just put your to-do list into those spaces, and then you can sit down in the evening and then put in whatever new game plans left. You know, if you've got your own business and you have appointments and things like that, some things from the game plan may get pushed out or what have you. So just make sure that if you do have appointments, then that they're factored around times in your game plan that can be sacrificed in replacement for calls, if that makes sense. I mean, you just sit down, put in your to-do list the night before, and then wake up in the morning, and then you haven't got to literally, because I know that if I don't do my to-do list or plan my day for the next day in the morning, I'll sit down and go, I'm ready to work.
Like, what am I meant to do?
Then you have to spend the next half an hour trying to plan your day, and you just lost half an hour, where you could have just smashed out 2 things off your to-do list.
Yeah, that's so true, you know. Sometimes I I haven't written a to-do list today yet, and it's like 11 o'clock already or whatever, and I know there must be something that I'm missing or whatever. It doesn't happen that often, but if I haven't had written the list either first thing or hopefully in the future in the evening, then it throws me a bit, and I'm really quite sure that there must be something I'm missing, or I have pop-ups on my phone, and I've got a file of facts as well to write everything in, because I do like seeing things on paper. But that sounds like a really good idea. Excellent. So you said that you wanted to tell us about 3 healthy habits for a simple lifestyle. Interesting to hear about this.
So a lot of these will tie into what we've already covered, and there's obviously lots of healthy habits that you can implement into your life, but for someone that's trying to make healthier choices within the lifestyle and at the same time deal with other things they're already overwhelmed and stressed out, if you start chucking more stuff into the mix, it's going to just make it worse. It's not going to actually benefit. And like we said already, they won't be consistent with them because they haven't got the time to focus on them and make them habits. So these 3 healthy habits, they are the fundamentals of life, basically. If you don't do these 3 things, you'll die. It's that simple. When I tell you what they are, you'll be like, Well, it's obvious, but it's people don't do it. So
Yeah.
the first one is prioritize your sleep.
Right.
So you've got a computer, right? What do we do every day when you finish work? You shut down your computer. What happens if you don't shut down your computer? Give it 2-3 months. You have to go and buy a new one because it's just so slow. It's always got programs running in the foreground. It's always pinging notifications because it's never actually switched off and lets it actually fully recharge, which is what you need to do. Because if you're sleeping better, you're going to be less stressed, better mental focus, deal with challenges thrown at you through the day, and it's just going to make life a whole lot easier because you've actually rested your body properly. And obviously sleep length depends on the individual. Some people need to sleep for 6 hours. Some people need to sleep for 8. You got to try and see how it goes for yourself. See what works best for you. So that's number one, prioritize your sleep. And that's where the whole phone's down, go to bed at a reasonable time. Like we'll give our kids a bedtime, but we won't give ourselves a set bedtime. But if you actually have a non-negotiable bedtime, you're then cementing a better routine into your life where your body knows when you're going to bed, it knows when to start winding down. Then you know when you're supposed to be waking up. So the chances are you'll start waking up before that new alarm that you've set. So prioritize sleep, have your whole evening and morning and day essentially revolving around sleep. Because I guarantee you'll feel a hell of a lot better in every sense of the word if you're sleeping better.
Yeah, that's so important. But you know, with everything upside down and on its head at the moment, I'm noticing that I'm getting up later and later because it's like, well, what's the point? You know, I have appointments on certain days, but if I don't have appointments on other days, and I'm like, well, they're all getting up at 8, so why can't I? Or why can't I get up later than that? So, and then I'm going to bed later. So it kind of, you know, it's a circle that, you know, it's a spiral that I'm going down at the moment. I'm like, I'm just observing it at the moment. I'm not beating myself up about it, but it's something that we have to be gentle with ourselves about and observe and then kind of decide what is the best way. I'm not going to be getting up at 5:30 again anymore like I used to when we have normal school. But why not at 6 or 6:30? You know, that would be a good compromise. And if everybody else is getting up at 8, then I have a nice long time on my own to do my things before they get up, and I'm, you know, just about to start my day when they're just getting up. So yeah,
exactly. You're going to struggle to implement your morning routine if you can't get out of bed. So it all kind of ties in together. So that's the first one. That's prioritizing your sleep.
Okay.
The next one is create space. So what I mean by space is give yourself an opportunity to escape the hustle and bustle of life.
Right.
So think of your brain as like a goal, like in football, and you've got a goalkeeper in front of it. That goalkeeper in front of it would be essentially the space that you create. Yeah. So you've got people kicking balls at you. Those would be triggers, stressful situations, people doing stupid stuff, people not being organized and expecting you to be rush around after them. All these things that are going to start irritating you. That is what you're trying to protect and keep out of your brain, because as soon as those start coming in, that's when you start feeling overwhelmed, stressed, you start getting run down, you stop following the plan, and then everything just goes down the pot. Yeah. So prioritize space. That can be absolutely anything. It depends on the individual. Like some people like meditation, some people like just going for a walk, some people like going for a run, some people like just sitting in silence and doing some breath work. Whatever it is that works for you, make sure that you're factoring that into your weekly game plan, into your daily tasks as a non-negotiable, because it's going to make everything else possible. It's very easy to be like, oh, it's only 5 minutes, only 5 minutes meditation. Oh, the rest of it won't matter if I don't do these 5 minutes. But if you don't do those 5 minutes every single day, then within 10 days, you're going to be back to this old stressed you. Yeah. So you'll have that discipline, that resilience to look after yourself. Yeah. If your family and work can't give you 5 minutes to yourself, you've got bigger problems.
Yeah, it's the old oxygen mask analogy, isn't it? You know, put your own on first before you can put anybody else's on.
100%.
Yeah, I find that I need to just escape sometimes. We have an open plan living and dining area, kitchen, and it's like sometimes in the evenings it's just like, I need to just get out of here. There's too much noise going on. The telly's going. There's two people talking to each other. Somebody might be, you know, strumming a guitar, and I'm like, I just need to get out, because I'm slightly more sensitive to all that noise than they are, and especially in the evenings. So luckily, I can escape to the bedroom or my office. and they get that now. They never used to, but like you say, you have to communicate it to people and tell them why, so they don't get a huff with you. I just say, look, I just need a bit of headspace, or I need just 5 minutes on my own, and I'll be fine again. And they're like, oh, okay then. And
Yeah, definitely. So just explain to your family what all your work or what have you, why you want this extra space. I mean, they'll understand. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. And then that's just going to help you then obviously deal with the whole stress and overwhelm and everything like that. Just get yourself out of your head for a bit, basically. If you're doing a marathon, after marathon without resting, you're going to be in pretty bad place after probably 2 marathons. And that's what you're doing when you're not resting. You're not giving your brain an opportunity to recover and adapt to the stress that it's been under, so they can deal with better. Like, stress isn't a bad thing. Stress is a good thing. Yeah, we need it to improve. When you go to the gym, you put your body under stress to build bigger muscles, to get stronger, to get more conditioned. But if you don't give yourself rest days from the gym, you don't give your body the chance to repair and recover and grow and get better. It's the same with your brain. If you don't give it the opportunity to rest and recover from the stresses and strains of life, you can't grow and adapt. And if you give yourself the opportunity to just escape those stresses for a bit, if you reflect on things 2 years from now, I guarantee you'll be dealing with far more stressful situations 2 years from now, far better.
Yeah.
And you'll look back and be like, 2 years ago, I was getting annoyed because so-and-so was doing this tiny little thing and it was making me angry. And now you're like, I'm dealing with, I don't know, if you've been promoted in your career or whatever, you're now managing 10 people and you're taking it all in your stride. But 2 years ago, you couldn't even manage yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just from creating a bit of space and giving yourself an opportunity to grow and recover from all of that.
Yeah, and it's so important to actually know yourself as well, isn't it? And reflect, and also I found personality test was just so brilliant. Like the Gallup Strengths test, for example, or the I think, was it 16 personalities and what have you. Or is it 19? I don't know. Yeah, but it's just like, get to know yourself, know who you are and what type of personality you are. Last year, for example, it was only last year I found out that I would class myself as highly sensitive. I'm like, oh, right. So when everybody tells me, oh, stop thinking, Suzanne, and you overthink, and, oh, you're so sensitive to noise, as if it was something wrong with me, I got to know myself and went, oh, right, okay, it's because I'm highly sensitive, and that's 20% of the population. So obviously we're in the minority. And now I can explain it to people and just say, no, I don't need to change. I'm okay by the way I am, but I know now where my boundaries are and when I need space to breathe and to be quiet and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's really important to get to know yourself.
Yeah, and with the stresses and strains of life that has been the way for the last 50 years or what have you, you don't take the time out to actually learn what you want. You get all these different beliefs and impressions and labels put onto you by other people, and then you just follow them like a sheep and just think that this is the only way you're supposed to do it. If you just took a second, like you've got now with this whole COVID-19 epidemic or pandemic, you've got a bit of time to just sit and be like, okay, what do I actually want? What do I actually need? What do I want to put into my life that wasn't there before that I now have time to do? And then carry that forward.
And what is in my life that I don't need anymore?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's another time management tip. Start saying no to people that you shouldn't be saying yes to.
Yeah, life's too short to just try and please everybody, isn't it? We start with pleasing yourself and see how far it gets you, much further. Excellent.
Exactly. Third habit is drink water.
Yes.
It amazes me how many people come to me. Like, I used to run a 5-day challenge. Yeah. Run a 5-day challenge where I used to go through these 3 habits and a couple of other things as well. And water was one of them. I used to have that right at the start of the week. They'd all be commenting in the group saying, oh, I want to have more energy, better focus, all of this sort of thing, better sleep. Okay, right. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to try and drink 2 liters of water a day. And then literally within like 2 days, if not less, they're like, I've got so much more energy, so much more focus. And it's just because they're drinking, because you don't realize how lethargic it makes you when you don't drink. Literally, I think it's 2%. If your hydration levels drop by 2%, you are technically dehydrated.
Wow. Okay.
If you're not drinking enough water. And I know a lot of people, like my mum included, she's really bad for drinking water. All she drinks is like maybe 4 cups of tea a day, which is not a lot of water. And people have headaches all the time. They have no idea why they've got headaches, but they don't drink water. I guarantee if you start drinking more water,
Mm.
have more energy, better focus, you're giving your brain, I think your brain's 70% water. If you give your brain more
Wow.
water, it'll work better.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I was always, we were never encouraged to drink water when I was a kid, or not much of it. And of course, before bedtime, kids were never, encouraged to drink. And yeah, my family doesn't drink much at all. But I found if I took a glass of water with me to my desk like now, it just sat there all morning and I just completely ignored it. So what I actually do now is every couple of hours, every 2 hours, I even had a timer on for a while. I'd go upstairs to the kitchen, so I'm taking a break and moving my body. I'd get a huge glass of water and I'd down it at the sink. And then I'd go off and go back to go to work. Because otherwise I wouldn't be drinking anything. If it just got it sitting there, it's just not going to get drunk.
Yeah.
So
You got to find ways that you can fit into that work for you. Some people have like an app, make a bit of a game out of it.
yeah.
Something I get my girls to do is implement it into their morning routine so that when they wake up, they've taken that cup up to bed with them. As soon as they wake up,
Which is great.
drinking that glass is the first thing that they do, so that they've already drunk a half litre, maybe even a litre before they've even left for work.
Right.
If your target is 2 litres a day, you've already just drunk half of it. It's not even 8 o'clock. You've got all day to then
Exactly.
drink the remaining litre. And if you can't drink a litre in a day, then you need about 10 alarms to remind you then.
Yeah, and I find also if I drink more water, I don't get so hungry so much because, and lots of people think, oh, I'm hungry, but actually it's not hunger, it's probably thirst.
Yeah.
So you don't just replace the food with water, but you're actually listening to your body's signals more by drinking. And I get through, I normally have breakfast about 6:30 in a normal situation, and then lunch at about 2. I don't need to eat anything in between because I've had about 4 or 5 huge glasses of water in between. I don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. It makes you feel fuller. The chances are when you're craving something, if you have a drink of water first and it goes, fantastic. If it doesn't, then you're probably hungry.
Mm.
But if you stop replacing those hunger pangs immediately with some kind of convenient food, swap it with water instead.
Mm.
That's going to help you feel better. May even help you lose a bit of weight if that's what you want to achieve.
Mm.
You start cleaning your diet up a little bit more unintentionally because you're just eating less junk.
Yeah.
You're giving your body the hydration that it needs to actually function properly because your body runs on electrolytes. That's how it communicates. That's how your brain sends signal around the body is electrolytes. And water is essentially what conducts those electrolytes. So if you haven't got enough water, then the signals aren't getting sent around your body properly or very efficiently. You're just not setting yourself up to be in a very good place, really.
Yeah, exactly. No, water is so important. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lewis, for joining us today. Excellent. So how can you've got a little freebie here that you told me about. You've said that you've got a cheat sheet to optimize your morning and maximize your day. I'll put that link in the comments after the interview, so that's great. So if you'd like to download that, then you can. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Also, you can book a session with Lewis. Would you like to explain what you get in the session?
Yeah, so it's a lifestyle recalibration session where, like we discussed on this call, I've given you very generic information that is, may not be particularly unique to an individual that's watching. The purpose of the lifestyle recalibration session is to figure out what areas of your lifestyle need addressing and then helping you then make those changes based on where you're at currently. So we give you access to 24/7 email support. Email me anytime, got your dramas. You get access to a course for life, the lifestyle recalibration course, where you get my morning routines, evening routines, nutrition guidance, a 3x3 method, which includes those 3 habits I just discussed, all the time management protocols that I get my clients to use so that you can, implement what we talk about in the session and then moving forward, keep them.
Yeah, wonderful. And then you can move on to longer coaching packages, I assume, then after that session, if you're happy with the work and you want to do some more.
Yeah, so I do a 90-day priority health program, which takes someone from a point where they're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, lacking energy, struggling to lose any weight they want to lose, to a point where 90 days later, they're completely in control of their time, control of the direction that their life's going. They know how to, or they've reached the weight loss goals, or they know how to continue losing weight until they hit it and then maintain that lifestyle permanently. So that's the yeah, that's the another option that they can go down. If they want to just go straight into the one-to-one intensive coaching, they can do that.
Excellent. Right, just have a check to see. I'll just refresh the page, see if there are any more comments. No, that's it for today. Excellent. Okay, well, thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks, Lewis, for joining me. And if you have any questions, you can find Lewis at www.lewispearse with an S, not C, because I was born with a C, but you with an S.com.
Yeah.
And I'll put the links in the comments. And if you have any more questions after, if you're not watching this live, you're watching it on the replay, then Lewis or I will come in and answer them for you. Okay, thanks ever so much.
Thanks, Suzanne. Been a pleasure.